What's going on, Knicks fans? Last time we did this on a video, it was before the Knicks played the Sixers in back-to-back games. And what do you know? Alec Burks started yet again. We clearly didn't get enough likes. We got 350. I thought it was a good number. But obviously the Knicks didn't receive the message. And we're going to do this on every show until the Knicks bench Alec Burks. So if you want the Knicks to bench him, go down right now and like this video. Welcome into New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, and we're going to get into a mailbag today. I posted on the community tab and asked you guys to submit your questions, and it's a two-step process to get in on these mailbags. You got to be a subscriber, and you got to drop your questions when I ask for them. So go down in the comments right now and use hashtag Knicks to be featured on the next mailbag, like New York State of Mind 23 is. They said, should the Knicks try to trade for Markelle Fultz in the offseason? We need a PG bad, yo. I agree, yo. The Knicks, they need a point guard. Right now, they are last in the association in assists, and it's time for the Knicks to make a splash move to get a point guard on this roster. And I think Markelle Fultz is a name that we've talked about a little bit, but someone that they could explore this offseason. The last time he played a majority of games and before tearing his ACL was back in 2019 and the 2020 season, where he averaged 12 points per game, 5 assists per night, and shot 46.5% from the field and a pretty bad percentage from three. He's kind of struggled since he came out of Washington, shooting just 26% from three. But this was his best season in the NBA, and this got him a 3-year, $50 million extension. And I think Fultz is an interesting name. The former number 1 overall pick, someone that I think still has a lot of potential and a ceiling that he isn't even close to reaching. I think he's even getting better the past couple games for the Magic. He's been back, and he's had some splash plays. I think this is the type of player the Knicks could take a chance on. Maybe trade 1 first-rounder. They have all of their picks in the next 6 years, including 2 picks, one being their own, one of the Dallas Mavericks in the 2023 NBA draft. So they have the assets to make a trade for a guy like Markelle Fultz, someone who's still young, is on a reasonable contract, and someone that still has a lot of potential. I don't know if he's ever going to be the shooter he was coming out of, or expected to be coming out of Washington, but he's a good player that knows how to get downhill, attack the cup, and put players in position to be successful. He makes players around him better. He's a good facilitator, and he has good court vision. But I'm curious, what do you think about this? Should the Knicks trade for Markelle Fultz? A lot of people are going to be like, man, he's a bust. He's never lived up to the hype. He's had a lot of injuries. He can't shoot the shoulder, the knee. I understand, but I think this is the type of name the Knicks and Leon Rose are going to look at in the offseason. So get in the comments and let me know. Type T for trade or type P for pass. All my life, I always heard that New York City is a basketball city. And here at Chat Sports, we have Giants Now and Knicks Now. Right now, Giants Now is what? I'm bad at math. 1,400 subs ahead of Giants, behind Giants Now. And it's crazy because Giants Now is hosted by some scrub with a terrible Widow's Peak. So subscribe to Knicks Now. Go down, hit that big red button. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, and we're trying to catch Marshall Green on Giants Now. So if you love the Knicks and you're looking for content every single day on YouTube around Knicks news and rumors, go down right now and hit that big red button. This next one coming in from Go New York, Go New York, Go. One of the best songs there ever was. He asked, if the T-Wolves miss the playoffs, should we try to trade for D'Angelo Russell? Shout out to D-Lo. He's always got the ice in his veins. I like D-Lo as a player, but I also kind of think I like the idea of D'Angelo Russell more than the actual player that he actually is. He has never shot above 45% from the field in his NBA career, and he's only played in more than 60 games 3 times out of his 6-year NBA career. This year, he's playing pretty good for the T-Wolves, averaging just under 20 points per night, almost 7 assists, but he's shooting 41% from the field and a solid percentage of 35% from 3. I have some concerns about D'Angelo Russell, and its durability and inefficiency, and also he's a high volume shooter. He likes to get his shots up, but he isn't the most efficient guy. He's never shot over 45%, above 45% in his NBA career, and he's been MIA for a good chunk of his career, only playing in more than 60 games 3 years out of his 6-year NBA career. I think if the Timberwolves end up sliding and missing the playoffs, right now they're 7th in the Western Conference. If they don't make the playoffs, it's going to be time for that organization to look in the mirror and say, hey, are we going to build around D'Angelo Russell, Karl Anthony Towns, and Anthony Edwards? Or do we have to choose two of those guys and move on from a guy like D'Angelo Russell? I think this is a name that Leon Rose may look at this summer, maybe trade a couple draft picks for him. I think he's a good player, but I do have my concerns with D'Angelo Russell. But with the state the Knicks point guard situation has been dating back all the way to 2009, I don't think we can really be all that picky. D'Angelo Russell was once an NBA All-Star. But pick one for me. We talked about Markelle Fultz. We talked about D'Angelo Russell. Clearly, D'Angelo Russell is the better basketball player right now, but he would also command more of a trade package from the Knicks to acquire him. You got to pay him more money, so you got to give up less to get Markelle Fultz. He's a little younger, and I think he might have a higher upside, but D'Angelo Russell is closer to a finished product. So get in the comments and let me know. Type MF for Markelle Fultz or DR for D'Angelo Russell. St. Patrick's Day is just around the corner, and you don't like being pinched on St. Patrick's Day or going through your clothes and you're like, damn, I can't find anything green. Do it with this Knicks shirt by going to chatsports.com/KnicksGreen. They have all types of St. Patty's Day Knicks gear on sale, and it's only going to be for a limited time. So if you need some gear to wear on St. Patrick's Day weekend, do it chatsports.com/KnicksGreen. This next one rolling in from my guy Flynn Ryder, always watching the videos. Shout out to you for commenting on the community post. They ask, with Derrick Rose coming back next season, most likely, and the Knicks possibly signing or drafting a PG, where does Deuce McBride fit into the rotation next season? I think this is a good thought. Derrick Rose, I do expect to be back with the Knicks next year. Tom Thibodeau loves him. And Derrick Rose has kind of cemented himself into the Knicks lineup and kind of the culture of who they are. But to see what Deuce will be next season, they need to start playing him right now. There is no reason that Alec Burks, where the Knicks are out of the playoff race, they're not going to make the NBA play-in tournament. It pains me to say because I love the Knicks. They're not going to make it. And it's time to play the young guys. You don't get anything now or tomorrow out of playing Alec Burks 30 minutes. Let Deuce McBride start a couple games. He started one game in his NBA career. The only game he's played more than 30 minutes. He scored 15 points against the Houston Rockets, had a good amount of assists, shot above 50%. I'm not saying he's going to come in and be a game changer for the Knicks, but what he can do on the defensive end is something that Tom Thibodeau should be in love with. His defensive skills, he's a defensive mastermind on that side of the court. His lateral agility, his side-to-side quickness is something that you rarely see in players at his size and at his stature. Him coming out of college was one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA draft, and he slipped a little bit, and I thought the Knicks really got a steal with him, but we haven't seen him enough on the court at the NBA level to see, but he's been balling in the G League. I know you don't want to dive too much into G League numbers, but I think the proof is in the pudding that Miles McBride, if he gets the chance, will be a solid player in the NBA. He was asked why he hasn't been getting minutes and what he thinks he is as an NBA player a couple days ago, and he said this, and I loved his answer because he has that real bulldog mentality. He said, staying in front of elite guards is something I want to do and something I think I'm going to be able to do. Who on the Knicks roster right now is considered a good perimeter defender? The answer, nobody. Miles McBride would step in and be the best on-ball defender the Knicks have right now. I'm not saying he's going to change the fortune as a point guard, but you don't know what you have for next year in McBride if you don't play him right now and get a sense of the type of player he is. So pick a point guard for me. If you go down and type AB, I'm probably going to block you because nobody wants to watch Alec Burks play anymore. But weigh in, get your thoughts off your chest. Type MM for Miles McBride or AB for that scrub Alec Burks. This last one rolling in from the Knicks Tape 69. I always see you in the comments. I appreciate you. They ask, who is more to blame for this terrible season, Tom Thibodeau or Leon Rose? I go back and forth on this all the time, and I'll break it down to you like this. Both deserve blame. But Leon Rose, I think, deserves a little bit more blame, and the blame for him is on the construction of this roster. What he did in NBA free agency is a fireable offense. The Knicks, they entered NBA free agency with the most cap space to spend, and you walked away with Taj Gibson, Alec Burks, Derrick Rose, Evan Fournier, and a washed-up, beat-up Kemba Walker. So the roster is not great. But then there's also blame on Tom Thibodeau because the expectation was set so high last year after they finished the 4th seed in the East. That's not why there's a disappointment. It's because the season has fallen off the rails. There's clearly a talent gap when the Knicks play every single night. But you can turn a terrible season into a worthwhile season. Just because it's a bad season doesn't mean it has to be a lost season. And right now, Tom Thibodeau experiencing and getting experience for the veterans instead of guys like Obi, Cam, Miles, RJ getting more minutes. We need to see the young guys like Emmanuel quickly get minutes instead of guys like Alec Burks or Taj Gibson or Nerlens Noel. At the end of the day, Tom Thibodeau had the chance to turn a lost season into one that he could have fueled and used for next season, but he just hasn't done that. So both of them deserve blame. I would go down in the comments right now and type TT and LR. I think both of them deserve blame, but who deserves the most blame? Get down in the comments and let me know. I'm really curious. I think this is a good conversation that all Knicks fans need to have. I think the struggles in free agency are on Leon Rose, but the lack of getting the most out of the roster and playing for tomorrow being next season in the future falls on Tom Thibodeau. But let me know. Type TT for Tibbs or LR for Leon Rose. If you're on Twitter and you love the Knicks and you love Knicks content and you like, when you're not able to watch the game and you like to follow someone on Twitter that's live tweeting games, I'm your guy. Hit me up at @MarshallGreen_ and give me a follow. If you send me a DM letting me know it came from this video, I'll give you a follow back.